All right, so good memories there, Bellezy.
Great memories.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they can, because I was talking to Sonny and they said, they're hoping to get more of the Oilers into the building.
Yeah.
Because the 3 stars would be pretty cool. You have, some of the local guys here. I know that Hammer's here.
Yeah.
Savoy's here. There's some guys that stay in the city.
James Hamblin, you talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully those guys are able to show up. I mean, this is not a shot at Kyle Rossiter in any way, but James Hamblin versus Kyle Rossiter. Most of those kids.
I understand what you're saying.
Most of those kids with me, if I'm on the ice, but they don't know who I am.
What about the guys that stay or come back from their respective team cities that live in this city that kind of fly under the radar?
There's a lot of those guys.
There's a lot of those guys.
There's a lot of those guys. But the problem is trying to track them all down.
Yeah, but I feel like you could if you put in a
if
little bit
you put in the
of
effort to do it.
Yeah.
You would be able to track them all down. And there's a lot of guys that are here.
Right. Not a lot of Oilers are here, but a lot of NHLers that are from here are back here in the summer. I think that would be more realistic, to be honest with you. Let's get to the inbox, 780-218-9999. Collingwood Rob says, not to start a verbal fight, but Bellezy, you just used regular season goals and assists to value Granlund. Did not do the same for Marner in the regular season. I agree with everything you said about Marner in the playoffs. He's more Charmin than Rishog. Well, that's from Collingwood Rob. Oh, boy.
Well, there's not really much to verbal there. Like, there's no fight there. I saw his numbers. I used his numbers. And then for Mitch Marner, the thing is, well, I did actually technically use his regular season stats because he's a 100-point scorer.
Right.
But the biggest comment and conversation to Mitch Marner has always been what he does in the playoffs.
Or what he doesn't do.
Right. So that's why I use those examples, because we don't hear necessarily that same conversation with Granlund when he pops up. That doesn't happen. But Marner is just he's such a good player, but at the same time, he's had, some failures in the playoffs, and he unfortunately was in Toronto. And so you hear about that lots.
Yeah, that's true.
So no, there's no verbal fight there. It's just, it is what it is. And that's the nature of our business, because some people get put on a higher pedestal than others. And if you're a 100-point guy coming out of the epicenter of hockey, or at least made up.
Well, it is. It is. I mean,
you just get more limelight, and you get more comparisons, and you get different critiques than maybe a Granlund would.
That's fair. All right, let's go to Nate the Builder. Says, morning, boys. Did Bellezy or Tommy ever play in a minor hockey summer tournament called the Vancouver Hockey Super Series by chance? I didn't. I think I played in one in Maple Ridge, but that was in Bantam.
I think I did.
That was cool, going to Vancouver for a hockey tournament. I remember that one. Scalding Gord, in regard to the video, says those team helmets were like Jules' teeth, all different shapes and colors and all doing their own thing.
Kind of like summer teeth.
Summer teeth.
Summer here, summer there.
Yes. I think I had there were some ugly buckets back in those days.
Oh, man.
You had a blue one.
No, I don't even think it was blue. I think it was purple.
What was it, a Jofa?
No idea.
Do you remember the company Canadian?
Oh, yeah.
I had one of those helmets, a black one, with just a gnarly cage.
We all had gnarly cages.
Yeah.
We just had awful style back then.
I think I had Cooper pants, Cooper gloves. Maybe I got CCM gloves by that point. And I used a Gretzky aluminum junior stick.
Yeah.
Black and silver. And I think I had Bauer 200 skates. That's where they were back in the day.
The best skate still is the...
Vapors?
No, the CCM 652.
Is that with the white part on the heel?
Those are the best.
Yeah, I think CCM actually kind of made a tribute pair or style.
Yeah, they came back with some.
Yeah, and Crosby
was
wearing.
They don't look as good.
They do not look as good.
But it's still kind of nice.
I remember the black tuck was all the rage.
Yep.
90s, man.
Easy E. Basically, if you're a star player, Bellezy gets to move the goalpost when evaluating their performance. That is not technically true, but that's what all star players get. When they get critiqued at a different level. It is what it is. Comes with the territory.
Matt Hyman has emailed me the rosters.
Ooh.
I'm looking for it. Are you sure he did, Matt? I'm not seeing it here. Anyway, he has the 1995 brick rosters, if we can get that. It's just Tom at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Matt.
Oh, that'd be too easy.
I'm laughing. That's funny. Anyway, check if you're going to the mall or you want to watch some like guys that'll probably play in the NHL. The brick tournament's happening at Weston Mall right now. Benny, any follow-up?
Yeah, I mean, like, I always love looking back at those rosters and stuff, just like seeing all the guys that were on those teams and eventually made their way in the NHL. Everything, it's pretty sweet. Like the pictures and stuff, like randomly, like if a guy gets traded to a team, like, oh, these guys were last teammates at the brick tournament. And
so you know they're going to have chemistry.
Exactly, yeah. Like when they were 9 years old, like they built up that chemistry.
Yeah, they played 5 games together.
Yeah.
At 9.
Yeah.
So you know that spark and that magic is still there.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Like I mean, you can even see like some of the kids like on those teams that are just like so good. And I mean now too, like some of the highlights that we've been seeing from this brick tournament like this year is
fantastic.
Ridiculous.
All right, we're going to get to the power play brought to you by our good friends over at Modern Measure, Edmonton's leading provider of made-to-measure clothing. Choose from hundreds of fabrics and customizations to give you a one-of-a-kind look with a perfect fit made just for you. Benny, where are we going with this one? I think we're going to the archives.
Yeah, we are going to the archives here. We're going to go and peep around the Montreal Canadiens since they made a big move for Noah Dobson in the past couple weeks. So we'll send it over for the Montreal Canadiens and their suits.
Let's see it, the Modern Power Play.
Morning guys, Richie here from Modern Measure, giving you this week's Modern Power Play. Thanks to Hello Hockey and Edmonton Sports Talk for having us. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I was going to talk about the LA Kings, but I could not find any good, decent pictures of them. They all dressed a little bit boring, and that's all right. They're focused on playoff hockey right now. But you guys did send a link on the Montreal Canadiens, and they look amazing. They are bringing back some old school looks like double-breasted jackets and pleated pants. So let's take a look. First up, we have Blaine Hudson. He's got on a deep blue window pane suit. It's a double-breasted jacket with wide peak lapels. It looks like they're like almost flying off his shoulders. What's cool about this is that the button stand is a 6-button one fasten. Normally you have 2 buttons, but this style makes it quick and stylish to do up and undo. Also, most suits have 1 buttonhole on the left lapel, mainly used for flowers or pins. Lane has 1 on each lapel and also designed the thread to match the color of the window panes. Nice, unique detail there. He's wearing a blue monotone knitted tie. It doesn't take away from the suit look. This is a great outfit Lane has on. Here we have Jaden Struble wearing a stone gray colored suit. This is a classic single-breasted peak lapel jacket, tailored fit to his body. What I really like are the styling details he's done with his pants. Even though there are belt loops, no need to wear a belt as it's custom fitted to his waist. Another unique part is the closure tab on the waist, double button tab with a widened waistband. You don't normally find this style unless it's custom. Lastly, you can see the pleated front he has instead of a streamlined flat front. Some people are opting for this for more comfort and a formal look. If the pants are fitted properly, I don't mind the style at all. Next is Cole Caulfield. He's wearing a teal green pinstripe suit. This jacket style may look the same as Lane's, but it has a few subtle differences. First, the button stance is 4-button, 2 fasten. The lapels don't fly off his shoulders, but rather they point straight sideways. It's a visual look to make you look wider. There is a ticket pocket visible, and he's opted to have no pocket flaps showing. What I really like about the pinstripes is that they are perfectly symmetrical in every aspect of the jacket, from the collar to the lapel to the sleeves and the body. And the pattern flows nicely from the jacket to the pants. This outfit is something right out of the Kingsman movie. Okay, lastly, we cannot forget about Patrick Laine. And I know you guys sent us this link to give us our thoughts on this look. Call me old school, but I am still not a fan of patterns like this in a full suit. The buttons are somewhat decent. They bring out the gold color of the suit. Jacket fit is good. Length too. Pants are too short for my liking, even if it is like a sporty look with those funky shoes. You know, if the pants and the shoes were at least black, I wouldn't mind this look. The overall design of the suit is good, but the pattern just points like everything to look silly and weird to me. All right, that does it for this week's Modern Power Play. Appreciate you guys. Thanks again to Sean, Tom, Benny, and Madison for all the hard work you do and for making us look good. See you guys next week, and go Oilers.
All right, that one was from the Vault. Good stuff there from Richie. We're going to see Richie and Jared tonight. Yep. Should be good to hang out with those guys. We're going to wrap things up in this segment with Brick Invitational Hockey Tournament talk. We have, thanks to Matt Hyman, your 1995 team roster.
Oh.
I've also discovered this Alberta Wolfpack All-Stars team is a bunch of guys I know. I had no idea there was another team.
You didn't?
No. So Team Brick, 1995, Chad Emmett, Dion Phaneuf, Sean Bell, Jordan Foote, I played with him in Maple Leafs, Mitch McGillivray, Mark Hopp, Ian McDonald, Alex McGarra, Ryan Garbett, Lee Martin. I went to school with Lee, great guy. Brent Leah, Dane Sorensen, Daniel Aaron, Michael Bradley, and Kevin Dew.
Nice.
Good hockey players there. Then this Alberta Wolfpack All-Stars. My good friend and former goalie, Jeff Provincial, was on the team. I had no idea. Alex Aldred, who was a good player. I think he went and played for Portland.
Yes, he did.
Matthew Boyd. These are guys that I remember them. Either I knew them or played against them. Ryan Muth, Cass Johnson, Tyler Johnson, Chevin Wilson. For some reason, I remember Justin Fudge. I don't know why.
Justin Fudge, that's my boy.
Okay. And my buddy, Lee Jubenville. So there was another Alberta, like Edmonton area team that I'm assuming rivaled Team Brick. You guys won, though.
They didn't rival us. Our rivals were like Vancouver Pacific Vipers. Okay. That team was stacked. I'm not going to read the full team, but TJ Mulock, who played, he played some pro.
Okay.
Brent Seabrook. You had Troy Brower on that team.
Wow.
Like there were some players there. Like it was a fun tournament.
I bet.
And like looking at some of these pictures, Detroit Honey Baked is posing in front of two motorcycles. There's not a team picture. It's a model shoot. It's a photo shoot.
Jeez.
You got Detroit Honey Baked from the 91 championship posing on a car.
Why wouldn't they?
That's what we did back in the 90s, Benny.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what we do nowadays.
Yeah. Now everybody does Fortnite dances on TikTok.
Yes.
That's what you guys do now.
Yeah.
You have an update on Team Brick from today.
Yeah, unfortunately, Team Brick lost, it looks like, with 0.01 seconds left on the clock in OT.
Ooh.
So the Junior Canucks, led by Gilbert Brulé, move on, I believe, to, is it the finals? The finals.
I think so.
Okay. Good trip down memory lane. Tough one for Team Brick.
Yep.
And good luck to all the kids going to the finals over at the Brick Invitational Hockey Tournament. That's going to do it for this segment. We go into hour number 2 after this break. David Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey insider, will be joining us right here on Hello Hockey.
Two guys and a goalie.
I don't mind analytics. I just don't like when people are like only analytics and only this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, guy and so he's horrible. And I'm like, let's watch the tape. And then let's look at those analytics and say why some of that stuff happened before we make our decisions.
Cass is good in the sheets. The Excel spreadsheets.
I was going to say,
like
Cass, what do you think of analytics? By the way, this episode will be called Cassalytics. Hey, I think it's got to be.
Yeah. Two guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythm rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Marc Lajoie Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
This is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell. This is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Hour number 2 of Hello Hockey here on Edmonton Sports Talk, Sportsnet Radio. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful Saturday in early July. We've got a couple more weeks of the show. We will go to the 19th, I believe.
That's correct.
That will be our last show of season number 3. And it's been a fun one. It really has. A lot of growth this year, which has been great. And, wow, we got Benny now.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Benny. I think season 4 is going to be good.
Season 4 is going to be real.
Because I got a feeling we're going to get some more guests that we haven't had in the past.
I think so.
We've been putting a lot of, irons in the fire.
Yeah.
A lot of irons in the fire. And a new office.
And a new office.
New studios and this and that. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be lovely.
Yep.
Yeah. You can text us, 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up and like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Very cool to see us get to the 13,000 subscriber mark. It's good to see us catching on. People are understanding. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for sports in our fine city and beyond. And let's build this baby up. And she's a-moving.
She is moving.
As we like to say. All right, we're going to get you in the game. Dave Pagnotta is going to be joining us shortly. Portions of this hour are brought to you by our good friends over at Local Public Eatery. Our good friend, regional manager Dean Lowry, says it's the best place to watch any sporting event. Football right now, CFL obviously happening, and you're going to, baseball games, but there's so many of those every day. And F1's happening. Right now we've got qualifying. It's the British GP. That race goes tomorrow. And obviously, when hockey season rolls around, the best place to watch hockey and NFL football
100%.
is Local Public Eatery. I was there earlier this week. Shout out to Chris over at Local Jasper Ave.
We got one more on location.
We have one more on location. I think Chris said he invited us to do it there. It's a home game for me.
It is a home game for you, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we try to get that place packed with nasties.
It'd be good. It'd be really good. So shout out to everybody over at Local. And you saw Dean, and you were chirping him, I heard.
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
Why?
He looked me dead in the eye, then looked me off.
Probably on purpose.
I don't even think he saw me. I think he looked right through me.
Okay. Well, that's rude.
Which is hard to do.
That's rude. Visit Local Public Eatery locations in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Calgary, and Vancouver. Our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta, who will be in our fair city shortly. David, we're confirmed. When are you coming in?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Okay.
Have you packed, David?
No, absolutely not.
The room is ready for you at my place. You're familiar with it. And your golf shirt's ready to go. We have the EST annual golf tournament on Tuesday. It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to figure out the logistics. Yes. I'll be at Commonwealth Stadium working the football game. So we'll work on our times off the air. But lots to get to.
You don't want to just coordinate and tell everyone our business now?
I feel like people listening and watching this show probably don't care. As exciting as that is.
I'll throw my bags and I'll just head to local.
Yeah, you can do that.
Dean will say hi to me.
Yes, he would. He likes you.
Yeah.
We're just a nuisance to him.
Apparently.
Yeah, evidently. Hey, good job last week rallying. You got nominated for Gutsiest Performance of the Year, and you were spitting some fire, which was great. Free agencies in the rear view here. There are some questions coming in that people have in regard to people who are players that are available right now, but let's just start with, the Besser stuff. Was it like a last-minute thing where Vancouver just stepped up? How would you describe what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, look, ask anybody. Brock was he was ready to go. And it was within that final hour. I've said it. I think a number of other people have reported it too. In that final hour leading up to noon Eastern, when Vancouver finally came back and said, all right, we'll give you your 50. We'll give you the 7th year. And he ends up with 50.25. And he sat down and had to think it over and ultimately decided to stay. He always wanted to stay, but they dicked him around all season. So I definitely can appreciate the roller coaster ride he went on, the emotional roller coaster ride he went on. I said he had choice words for them. He did. And they managed to kind of suck it up and get that done. Now, they also realized that some of their other targets weren't going to come to fruition, which is one of the reasons why they did circle back. But he could have got more money elsewhere. He stayed, and he was happy about it. The first thing he said to me as soon as it all happened was crazy. So, good on him. I'm happy for him. He got what he was looking for. They could have avoided all the circus if they just would have done this several months ago. But they get it done. He's ultimately happy with it. They're happy with it, and water under the bridge now, I hope, and they got to move on.
All right.
What do you say to all the people that were on social media saying, Dave, you are a liar? How dare you throw these comments in there and get our hopes up, and that you use the Happy Hockey podcast to spread your lies.
The what?
Oh, sorry, not the Happy Hockey?
Well, that doesn't exist. But
okay.
Yeah.
But use our show to spread your lies. What would you say to those people?
NHL Network and NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM, and the league, and every the other outlets I work with. That's what they encourage, is just for me to make shit up, start stuff up. And,
that's okay. Benny's got it.
This is good.
So naturally, the longevity of my career has been based on that. So I definitely can appreciate the choice words that some have for me. I also don't give a crap, because this is what happened. If they didn't come back, like in Brock's case, if they didn't come back with that 7th year, he wasn't signing.
Yeah, and
it literally wasn't until that last hour. Within that last hour that it happened. So $50 million would change my mind too. So, these things happen. At the time, that's what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You believe whatever you want, but that's what happened.
Whatever. Fair enough.
I love it too, because it's, the roller coaster that is fandom here in the city.
Yeah.
They want to swing for the fences, and sometimes you can't swing for the fence every single time, because you have to be able to build a hockey team the right way. And hey, there's 32 teams in the NHL, and they're all vying for people's services. So,
and I fully believe that Edmonton would have gotten in that mix had they had the opportunity to. I don't see LA fans crying that they didn't get Brock because I said that they were in the mix, or others. So, that Boston would have gone after him too. Bruins fans are crying for a whole other reason. Their team's in shambles. So, they got to figure things out. Things happen. Things change. It is what it is. That's what happened. I don't know.
Move on.
I would agree.
Our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta, with us here. You can send us a text if you have a question for Dave, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can get into the nasty chat. Hampton Steve has a question for Dave. Says, morning, guys. Question for Dave. What's going on with Bo Byram, and will he be signing an offer sheet today before the Sabres file for arbitration?
They have $13, $14 million in cap space. So unless somebody's throwing $15 million at Bo, I just don't see it. I don't like, they've got enough in the tank to match something if they really want to. I mean, could someone still do it? I guess. I think it's wasted efforts. I think they're going to continue the trade discussions and try to figure things out. They go to our whatever sign and trade kind of deal or something like that beforehand. St. Louis was close. Like, a lot of teams have been poking around on him. Anaheim, San Jose, and I know San Jose has tried for a while. Obviously, they weren't able to get anything done. Maybe they circle back. We'll see. LA was in there. Calgary's been in there. Philly's been in there, and so on and so on. But they want a hockey trade. Like, if they're going to trade Byram for futures, they're going to use those assets and flip them to get something immediate. Like, it's poo-poo or get off the pot time now for Buffalo. It's been 13, 14 years since they've made the playoffs. They can't keep going. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs next season either, but they need to show their fan base that they're progressing in the right direction. The positive for them, like, Alex Tuck wants to stay. They've started negotiations on an extension. They've got him. They've got Tage Thompson. They've got Power and Darlene on the back end. There's a good core there. They just need to bring the right pieces to insulate that core and to complement that core. And that's part of the reason why Eric Stahl and Jarmo Kekalainen were brought in as well.
So, you look at some of the rationale as to why they're going to try to trade Bo and Byram, and they just traded JJ Peterka. These are players, though, that you want to keep in your organization. Now, is there something maybe behind the scenes that we're missing? Is this just a situation of, like, we want to round out the roster a little bit better to, potentially support, like, a Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck, Power, Dahlin for that, is that just what it is? Because to me, I find it very crazy that you're getting rid of guys that are in their, low 20s when they still got a lot of hockey, a lot of miles, and they haven't even touched their prime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so these are, I think, the final round of I want out without asking to officially be traded. Peterka was in that class. Byram's in that class.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the group is kind of like, this is what we're rolling with. You guys are our guys, and you're our main guys. We're rolling with you, and we're gonna bring you a supporting cast that fits. I like the Peterka trade. All things considered, guy didn't want to be there. Josh Doan's going to be a good mid-six guy, and if you watch enough hockey, Michael Kesselring is a really good defenseman. He's going to be that much better. I think he's one of the most underrated younger D in the league that doesn't get enough credit because the rest of the league just doesn't look at him from a fan perspective. So they just assume it was a crap trade because Buffalo has a history of doing crap trades. But, I like this move for them. We'll see what Byram brings if they do end up moving him. They obviously want to address their top six. They wanted to do that before they traded Peterka. So, I mean, at least get somebody to replace him and then kind of go from there. But I don't think Buffalo's done. They've got to figure out a few things, and obviously right now it's this Byram situation.
780-218-9999. David Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey Insider, with us here. Dave, Calgary, like, very quiet. We talked about it a bit on hour number one of the show. I guess Rasmus Andersson is the big question now. Like, what does Craig Conroy do, and what is their general direction?
Well, this is another team that, I mean, they were right there on the cusp of the postseason, right? They want to maintain that level of compete, which is why they haven't rushed to trade Rasmus Andersson. Now, they had that LA thing in the work, but he didn't want to stay there long term. The Sens are on his no trade list, so that kind of nullified that situation, despite Ottawa trying a few times to convince him otherwise, and hasn't worked, not yet anyway. But if they're like, this is another hockey type trade. Like, they don't want to move him for futures. They want to keep this team competitive. They've got their goalie now with Wolf. Same thing with Kadri. Like, all these people saying, well, these teams are looking for centers. Well, so's Calgary, right? Like, to trade Nas right now doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think his name has been out there more so because I've gotten denial after denial that they want to move him. Teams call a lot, right? Like, teams call and, is this guy available? Is that guy available? And then they talk. So I wonder if that's where the kind of ripple effect has occurred here with respect to Kadri's name being out there. Like, I know teams, like I reported on last Friday, on draft day that, Brendan Gallagher's name's out there. It wasn't because Montreal's trying to shop him. They're not looking to move him. But at least two teams that I'm aware of poked around and said, hey, what would it take? So, that happens a lot, especially this time of year, where people call and ask, and is this player available? Is that player available? And typically when the name gets out, it's those teams trying to apply a little extra pressure on the other team and use us as, mouthpieces and pawns, but whatever. But that stuff, that stuff happens. So I think that's the sense. I don't know 100%, but that's the sense I got with Kadri. I'd be a little bit surprised if they go that route. But Anderson's the guy. And look, this is another team. They want to keep adding. They want to keep pushing for the postseason. That's Craig Conroy's objective.
All right, a couple of texts have come in. Corey B., who will be at the golf tournament on Tuesday, as will David Pagnotta and the rest of us here at Hello Hockey. Corey B. says, I'll be at the airport with a sign, Dave, and I would like to buy Pegs a drink at the tournament. So that's good. Thank you, Corey B. And then Mike, the Michigan fan, says, I hope David
return the favor.
Yeah, yes, in kind, yes. Mike, the Michigan fan, says, I hope David has a strong back. He might have to carry our team on Tuesday at the EST tournament. That's from Mike, the Michigan fan.
Oh, buddy, if you're counting on me to help out, we're going to have a long day. We're going to have a long day.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and the weather's looking great. Matthew Wannick does a fantastic job setting up the tournament. All right, another question coming in from the inbox, 780-218-9999. Mike in Thunder Bay this time says, question for Dave regarding Nashville. When will they become sellers? They have key prices that they could offload for a haul. Forsberg, Saros, Marchessault. Will they look to get younger and build for the future, or will they keep trying to retool? Also, what would the Oilers have to give up for Saros? I know he just started his new contract. Mike in Thunder Bay with that one.
All right. I don't think Nashville's going to sell. They added Nick Hague to that blue line. They gave him a competitive contract. They like him. We'll see kind of what kind of goes on, with the rest of the group. But they want to fix what happened last season. So I like the Hague ad. He's going to be given more runway and more responsibility in the back end, and they paid for potential. They believe obviously that as well, which is why they gave him that contract. But they're going to keep adding some pieces to this group. That's their objective anyway. That's what Barry Trotz would like to do. So I don't anticipate them selling off a Saros or a Forsberg or the Marchessault stuff. I said it on this program that, the Marchessault stuff I didn't buy. They never spoke about waiving. And then eventually, I think Trotz came out and admitted that as well publicly. So they're going to, unfortunately, if you're trying to pluck guys off that team, I just don't see it right now. And I don't see them being in a position to trade Saros, especially after they moved Askarov to San Jose.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could talk about it, but it's almost pointless because just Nashville doesn't want to do it.
Okay. I wanted to ask you something, just regarding, salary cap going up, and you look at the free agents market this past year. It was underwhelming for the most part. There was some key guys that were free agents and snapped up pretty quickly, but as a whole, most teams tried to retain their free agents as quickly as possible, and you didn't see a ton of money getting thrown around like you have in the last couple of years. With that being said, is that more a situation of the cap is going up So teams are saying, we're going to hold on to everybody. Let's see what we have so we can then go, potentially add later because we might catch lightning in a bottle. Or is that, something where teams are trying to be a little bit more smart in the way that they're spending their money? And on top of that, because there's so many free agents that were being retained, when you look forward and look into the future and you see that there's an expansion draft coming and you look at the free agency, is there enough players? Because now you're going from 32 to 34 or 33. Is there enough players to now make this league very competitive? Because I'm assuming the league wants parity. So you come into it and you're saying, okay, well, there's not that many guys available to make your team better. Like in the case of the Oilers, how many guys in free agency could have really put them over the top?
Right. I mean, well, but that's an argument for a lot of teams, right? And so the extra money, the extra $7.5 million that everybody got this season in terms of cap space, it allowed teams to keep their own guys. If the cap wasn't going up as much, like Florida's probably not signing Brad Marchand, and it'd be a lot harder for Dallas to keep Rantanen, or at the very least to keep Duchesne. It'd be harder for Colorado to keep Brock Nelson, but because of that extra money, it's allowed them to retain pieces that they've traded for, that they wanted to add, and they wanted to stick with their group. Mm-hmm. It'll eventually change because eventually, like, these guys can only have so much self-control, these managers, that eventually they start to just toss out a lot of money. Give it a year. Let's see what some of these RFAs start cashing in on. And let's see what some of these players that are entering the final year or are now officially in the final year of their contract, let's see what type of extensions they get. And that will start to impact the market financially as well. And next summer, we'll probably see a little bit more activity, not a significant, I think we're 2 years away from that, but a little bit more activity in the free agent pool than we saw this summer, because there's still going to be flexibility for teams to keep their guys, even with bigger contracts coming. And, a third pair guy making $3-4 million is going to be the norm, on competitive cup contending teams. Mm-hmm. So everything is going to adjust and go up. We're still probably 3 years away from expansion or having, an expansion draft. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Atlanta news going into next season. It wouldn't shock me. But it'll take them 3 years to build their rink, and they've started now. But so you still have some time and some runway there. But I think from a talent pool perspective, the league has been getting younger, but it's also been staying. I don't want to use old, but
guys are hanging around longer.
Yeah. I mean, Brett Burns stuck around. He just signed a 1-year deal in Colorado. Jamie Benn stuck around. He stayed with he's up there. Burns is 40. Perry's 40.
Yep.
Marchand signed till he's 43. Like you've got. You're going to see more of those guys sticking around along with some of the younger players. So I think, and again, you look at the argument, you look at how many teams in the East almost made it. You look at how many teams in the West were competitive down the stretch before things the tires fell off. Mm-hmm. The league's in a comfortable spot from that perspective, which is why they are entertaining outside interest in groups wanting to add another team to the league.
All right, Dave, we only have a couple minutes left. This has been an awesome segment, as always. Coach Mike wants to know one thing, and then I'll wrap it up with a final thought as well. Coach Mike says, with the new LTIR playoff rules starting in 26-27, is the NHL going to scrutinize teams more this season before the new rules kick in? That's from Coach Mike. And then I'll just say, can you tack on odds and ends and loose ends that might get tied up in the next week?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they again, I know no one believes this, but they monitor everything. They look at everything. The whole Kane thing, by the way, is a little bit different because there was a strong belief that he would have been able to play had he not had that other surgery, and just was that really necessary? So that's why that one's a little different versus guys rehab schedules. I don't think much is going to come out of it, but that's what it is. So I don't think too many teams are going to take strong advantages of it. If you look at like Vegas, for example, they, even with Petro on LTIR, that's the money for Marner. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be up there already. So it's not like they can suddenly add unless somebody else gets hurt. So you take advantage of it now if you can for any of these teams. But this is the only way to kind of remedy this and fix this. And the other thing too is that the league and the PA, if they thought this was such a serious issue, they could have implemented it now if they really wanted to. They've made some alterations, like they had to agree on these cap numbers moving forward, right? They had to agree on all that. So they implemented it early. So you can make little amendments here and there and all that, but I don't think the league's overly concerned about it. I don't think the NHLPA is concerned about it overall. And that's the gist of that.
Okay, and then just for this week coming up, anything that might come our way?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously teams that missed out on guys, free agents and other trade candidates and things like that. So I would just keep tabs on Pittsburgh. They've got some guys that are still, they're still willing to talk about and dangle, whether it's Raquel or Rust or whomever. And Rust's no move is gone, so he's got no trade protection. Mason McTavish's name's been popping up a little bit. So, I mean, maybe that's something. I know your next guest was surprised by that. And this is more of a scenario of teams kind of calling and asking about it. Yeah. More than the Ducks wanting to move him, because I don't think they do. But this is more of teams looking at the situation and what's going on. And that's what we're going to see more over the course of the summer. But I will have this little disclaimer. We thought there was going to be a crap ton of moves at the draft because of all the activity that was taking place. And the Dobson trade set it off and everybody was, super excited, and then nothing, right? Other than a few swaps. So there's a lot of talk now. GM's talk a big game. Let's see if they, pull through on some of these moves over the summer. Otherwise, maybe we'll have a more eventful September. But, but we'll see. We'll see how things evolve. Eventually, these guys want to go enjoy a brew or two or seven and enjoy like their cottage or the beach. So I know that's what I'll be doing soon.
Oh, you'll be enjoying a brewer 2 or 7 on Tuesday at our EST golf tournament. Bello, a lot of people very excited to have you here in town, us included, obviously. And I'm going to ask you on air, are you good to come on the hangout on Monday from 9 to 11?
Let's do it. Let's do it. As long as we add the 1, 2, and 7 brews and multiply it by let somebody pick the number, at least 2.
Done. Great stuff as always. I will see you Sunday evening after the football game, and I look forward to having you back in town, Bello.
Can't wait for the tourney, boys. See ya.
There's David Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey Insider. Awesome information from him, as always, and he acknowledged Marc Lajoie, who's standing by. He'll be joining us from the University of Nebraska, Omaha. We can finally say it.
Finally.
Oh, my goodness. What a surprise. Oh, we're
How long did you know, Mark?
We had no idea. Marc Lajoie coming up next right here on Hello Hockey on EST and Sportsnet Radio.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythm, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Lajoie Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for The Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast, located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Time now for one hard lap as we enter our final segment of today's show. It's been a fun one. We've had too many laughs, and then in the commercial breaks as well. And I think we're going to have a few more with our next guest as our first star of the show. And our featured guest on One Hard Lap is brought to you by Performance Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, a clinic built specifically for the athlete and all of us, with a full team of physiotherapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, and acupuncturists, all here to help you live pain-free. Come see us today at our South Edmonton location. Visit performancechiro.com to book your appointment today. You can also text us 780-218-9999. If you're watching, you can get at us in the nasty chat, which a bunch of people have been. Here he is again. I think it's his third appearance of the season, which we appreciate because he's always fantastic. His dad has also been on the show. I wonder if he's ever played for his dad. It is Marc Lajoie from the University of Nebraska, Omaha. That's an inside joke.
Oh,
welcome back, Mark. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, thanks, guys. How are you?
We're silly today.
Yeah, it's been a good day.
Yeah.
It's been a good day, Mark. It's finally nice to talk to you, knowing that you are part of the Omaha, Nebraska.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Oh, wow.
For you, sir. For you.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
When did you find out?
Well, I committed about towards the end of our season, kind of right when it ended there. Obviously, we had discussions during the season, but for a lot of us, we had a good team last year at the U of A, so we wanted to kind of, focus on that and, try to win a national championship. And obviously that didn't happen, but, as soon as the season ended, we kind of ramped up the talks, and then, I decided that I'd make the move kind of shortly after our season ended.
Mark, because there's a lot of questions, because we've been talking about this eventually happening with the NCAA shift and what impact it's going to have on every other league, and obviously it will on U Sport. And you just came out of the WHL, spent some time in the AHL, then you go and play for the Bears after rookie camp with the Oilers. You went all over the place, but when did this idea get on your radar and you thought to yourself, you know what, I can go and play NCAA hockey and maybe give myself some more time to get another shot in the NHL potentially? When did that actually get into your head and might actually happen? Did you want?
Yeah, let me just add to that, because what is the process of how that all unfolds? Because it's, like you mentioned, you've done the Baco thing, you were in the WHL, now you're at U of A.
This is new, and
this is a whole new world. So what is that process on becoming, I guess, an NCAA player?
Yeah, so I guess to start, I feel like since I got to the Western League at 16, it's been something that's been talked about that, that they're going to be changing this rule. And then that kind of went on throughout, my whole career. And it kind of picked up a bit my last year, but I still really didn't think anything of it, and then went to Bakersfield, and still wasn't much about, that rule changing. So, I don't think for me it really became a reality of something that might happen until maybe a month or two into our season. I spoke with my agent, and he mentioned that, this is probably going to be something that's going to happen here soon. So that's when, the discussions kind of started about, maybe making the move. But like I had said before, we were still trying to focus on my season at the U of A, and we had a good team, and, that was still a good league, and I still wanted to, focus on developing there. And then once that rule changed, started getting some phone calls basically, right after, that day that they announced it. And then that kind of recruiting process started. And obviously I'd known Mike Gabinet before. He coached with my dad, so there was that connection there. And, I had spoken before, if this rule did change, that, that would be a place that I had wanted, to play. So I guess that's how that connection started. And then to answer your question, Bellezy, I think, Canada West and U Sports is obviously, it's a great league, and I was happy that I got to spend the year playing there. But I think for me and my development to go over to the NCHC and play in one of the best divisions in college hockey, and be able to spend 3 years there and continue to develop. And obviously I want to be a pro hockey player, and I think for me that that was the best place for myself to develop. And obviously at Nebraska Omaha, it's a great program with a great coach, and they got a lot of guys coming in too, a lot of great players that I'll be able to practice against and push myself against every day. So I think just the opportunity to play in such a good conference with good people at a good program is ultimately what made me make the switch to NCAA.
Marc Lajoie joining us now, new member of University of Nebraska Omaha. Obviously spent last year with the University of Alberta Golden Bears, and prior to that, an Oil King. Went to Oilers rookie camp, and you're doing it. Like you're like one of the first guys that's experiencing all of this, which is interesting. And how much do you think, Mark, that playing U of A hockey or U Sport and going to the U of A is going to prepare you for playing against some older guys as well in NCAA hockey, and then the school aspect of it too?
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. It's quite the adjustment, even just coming from junior to playing in Canada West. I mean, obviously, like you said, the older players, and being able to play against guys that are older and stronger and whatnot. That was an adjustment. And then the school part of it too was definitely different. You can't just live the dream and just play hockey and then come home and do whatever you want. You got other stuff you kind of got to take care of. So for me, I think having a year of being through that kind of lifestyle and all the responsibilities that come with it will be huge. And I'm definitely happy that I got to spend a year here at home and at the U of A.
Well, I want to just throw one more in there. How much is it going to suck wearing a cage again?
You know what? I went down and got my gear a couple weeks ago, and so I've been wearing a cage the last couple weeks, and it's definitely different, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be more of an adjustment, but I'm kind of used to it now. Just definitely feel like I look younger and look a bit stupid, so it's kind of embarrassing wearing one. But other than that, it's fine.
Safety is not stupid, Mark. Actually,
yeah,
I would never wear a cage again either. So,
yeah,
but
tough. But hey,
for good reason. For good reason. We're not mocking.
I wanted to ask you, just because obviously you're a guy that's lived it, and you see that the NCAA is going to be that next level, that next step, between junior, U Sport, and into pro. What do you think is going to happen with the players in the WHL? Because, just from seeing the rule change happen, you hear rumors, you hear all these different rumblings, and then all of a sudden now you're starting to see players, going from U Sport to the NCAA. You see guys from junior going to the NCAA. What do you think it's going to do for a league like the WHL? Like, what, in your opinion, how are they going to have to adjust?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. It's kind of, hard for me to answer. I think, obviously, the Western Hockey League is probably one of the best junior leagues, out there. And now with the opportunity that guys can still go play NCAA after, I think they're going to attract a lot of, good players. that might not commit, maybe some more Americans and whatnot. But then I guess there is also the risk that they'll be losing guys early. Some of the, you've seen some of the young, studs from that league already start to commit. So I think everyone's different, especially, there's some guys develop, obviously sooner than others. And then there's guys like myself that'll, end up playing the whole 5 years and then get an extra couple of years to continue to develop. So, in terms of how the league's going to be, I'm not too sure. I guess time will tell, but I just think this rule, gives kids opportunities to continue to develop longer, and I think that's what it's all about, and that's why I think it's a great rule change.
I'll follow up that question with this one because you look at NHL teams and guys that are trying to make their mark. Obviously, draft picks get precedent over free agents and this and that, unless it's like a high end, big name college prospect that was like a late bloomer or whatever. Do you think this opportunity for players such as yourself is going to open up players' eyes to or give them more hope to continuing to pursue an NHL career? Because now all of a sudden it feels like from the outside looking in, it's an extension of that window. Do you think that's a fair way to assess it, or do you think it might be different?
I think you're absolutely right there. I think especially, playing in the Canada West last year, you've seen how many guys, it's such an underrated league, and it sucks that it, doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. And, I think, seeing, a lot of those guys will be able to go to NCAA and play against, high level competition. I think it just opens the door for so many extra players and gives them a bit longer leash. I mean, at 20 years old, it's not easy to make the jump to pro. You've seen a lot of guys that, they struggle to jump right into it. And, this rule just gives guys the opportunity to develop for 2, 3, 4 years, however long they need, and then they can make the jump from there. And, they get to continue to develop and play great hockey after their junior career. So I think it definitely, extends the runway for a lot of people to, continue to develop and try to play pro hockey.
Bellezy?
Moving away from this, obviously you get an opportunity to hang out with your dad and do all those things. Like, he's coached with Gabinet, like you'd already mentioned. And is that part of, the reason that you're like, maybe I do want to go to Omaha, because there was a connection there? And Gabby obviously was up here in Edmonton, great coach, doing a lot of really good things. But is that potentially, like, that connection with your dad, part of the reason that you decided, hey, let's go to that school?
I mean, I think the connection definitely helped for sure. And, he's known Gabby and I've known Gabby for a while, but, it wasn't just Gabby. I mean, the people around him and the rest of the staff, were awesome when I went up and visited there. And, the facilities and, the program that they have was definitely the reason. I mean, obviously Gabby helps that I knew him, but when I went there and met the staff and saw the facilities and just the program that they've had and the success they've had with developing players recently. So you kind of combine all that, obviously the connection helped, but it was more than just, knowing Gabby beforehand.
All right. Most important question. I'm going to start by saying Ben Thompson is absolutely gassed right now. He's so tired. Yep. He had organized cardio last night, a.k.a. ball hockey, and I heard the Ninjas had a big night. Can you fill us in, please, Mark?
Yeah, they did have a big night, triple overtime win. A little disappointing we can get a full lineup on a Tuesday in the regular season, but
our captain wasn't in the lineup. Like, what a joke.
Can only get 10 guys. So it was a big one. Ben had a beautiful goal, and now I just got to get ready for game 2 here.
How serious does it get? I mean, and do guys come after you because they know who you are? I'm assuming they do, because my buddy Mark Fistrick used to get into like fights all the time when he played ball hockey.
Yeah, but that guy doesn't have an off switch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it gets competitive. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we do it because it's fun, but you want to win. So it definitely gets ramped up in playoffs, and the guys bought in pretty good yesterday. So
have you
it's a
had
ton of fun, but
any issues with like players, ball hockey guys, like, because obviously you are a massive human being. Some would say mutant. Benny said that actually. But like, has anybody ever chirped you and said like tried to goat you into a fight, like whether that's on the court or off the court? Does that ever happen?
Oh, there's been guys, yeah, they chirp me all the time.
He gets chirped the most.
The
Definitely
most.
Because he's a prominent hockey player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Or maybe it's a stupid helmet that he wears, the Warrior cage.
yeah, I don't look great out there, but
Is it because your parents show up too?
well, yeah, they support me. I mean, my dad doesn't come. He doesn't like ball hockey, but my mom's there all the time. So I get that a bit. Yeah, I get chirped quite a bit, but it's all right.
No, I'm sure you handle
I
it
don't even
well.
understand why they would look at him and be like, I'm going to chirp this guy.
Well, he is probably bigger than everybody. Beat
He
the
is.
wheels off of them.
Sequoia tree.
This
Yeah,
guy
Sequoia.
gallops. He gallops around the court.
like a thoroughbred.
Why doesn't Serge come watch you play?
You know what? Ball hockey's not really his thing, and the
it.
chirping and the parents, and you know, he'd get frustrated, so he just stays home. But he follows it. He follows it online. He always knows the score before I tell him. So
Nice.
But no, my mom's always there, so she supports me on this one.
That's good.
I love it. Go Ninjas. I'm going to say that.
Yep.
And I'm going to also say, Mark, congratulations on going to University of Nebraska, Omaha. This is really cool. Thank you for the insight and kind of giving us a peek at the process. This is new in the hockey world, and you're literally living it. So we appreciate that. You've been great all year. We hope to touch base with you during next season if you're cool with that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, whenever you guys need, be happy to be on. Love coming on here and talking to you guys.
Good. And don't be a stranger at Archetype. You can say hello. I'll be wearing Oil Kings gear all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know if you're a prospect or not. You look
Still got it. Still
Skinny
got
look
it.
12. Make sure you console your dad after
I
a
will.
unfortunate loss. I'm sure he's probably upset. I saw him recently, and he was all fired up. I'm like, hey, Serge, you realize this isn't pro.
Yeah.
We're just all messy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
okay.
these 10-year-olds, they take it pretty serious nowadays. Some of them are
they do.
unbelievable. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, make sure you give him a hug. I know he's going to be
Yeah,
upset.
for sure.
Yeah. Mark,
will
thank
do.
you, man. Appreciate
Awesome.
it. Have a good summer.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, you guys too.
There you go. There's Marc Lajoie. I think he's quickly become one of our favorite guests here on Hello Hockey.
he's great.
So fun to chat with him, and wishing him all the best at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, NCAA hockey.
Yep.
This is something we have never seen before in the world of hockey, and you've been kind of talking about it for a couple of years, and now it's finally happening. We've got someone that's living it.
Yep.
And so we'll kind of keep tabs and touch base with Mark, certainly, and then Benny gets to play ball hockey with him.
I was trying to drop a little breadcrumbs because Benny told us a story about.
Oh, I know. He didn't take. Well,
he didn't want any of the breadcrumbs.
yeah,
eh?
I know
well,
that story.
well, we played that team last night, and we're in a
did you?
playoff series against them.
Uh-oh.
So this is why I was trying to figure
and
out.
that guy. So there's an altercation in the
off
parking
the air?
lot. Yeah. I won't give the full details on here, but that guy. We were walking into the arena at the same time as him.
Oh.
And he walks by Mark and he goes, "See you out there, big boy."
Oh, God.
And Mark comes to the dresser room. He goes, "Boys, I'm gonna be nervous. Oh God, oh, guys, call me. He wants to see me out there."
Shaking
Well,
in
and
his
this
boots.
is the thing, like guys, it's ball hockey.
I know.
It's
I
not-
know. It's hilarious.
Like, it's not the World Championship ball hockey tournament.
People
It's
take
not
it so
even a
They do take it so
provincial. It's
seriously.
not. Is it the cities? Would you call it that, or is it just this is just like
It's
a
the
rec
league
league?
championship.
It's the Edmonton Ball Hockey League. Like,
And
it's,
you're threatening guys. Get out of here.
I know. Hilarious.
Speaking of ball hockey, Barry the Cheater in the Nasty Chat says, when I played ball hockey against Mark Fistrick, he gave me the easy big guy.
That's 100%.
That's so
what
Mark.
that is what he would do.
That is so Mark. Speaking of Archetype, our good friend Simon Bennett is the founder of Archetype. He's also involved with Sense Naturals. So discover balance, a hot tea elixir crafted from 10 potent herbs and spices, steeped to perfection to reduce inflammation, heal digestion, soothe anxiety, and promote revitalizing sleep. Redefine your health from the inside out with the centuries-old solution to today's modern health challenges. Elevate your wellness. Order your balance today at sensenaturals.ca. My dad uses it, says it helps his stomach. I used it last week when I had a cold, and it does have the immune boost, and it is actually pretty good. I don't handle my stomach and Earl Grey tea don't work
don't
well
vibe.
together. They don't vibe, but I have balance instead, and it's been awesome. So I highly recommend it. You've been using it too, haven't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've stopped because I'm too lazy, but it is unbelievable, and you should definitely. What I really enjoy was when I started working out again, having that before I work out.
Yep.
And that beetroot, man.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. That's because it's natural. It's a natural pre-workout, which gets a little bit more energy in the body, which is good.
All right, we have a couple minutes left. What did we learn today, boys?
Fistrix a goon.
You just learned that now?
No, I actually have a funny story about that. So we were playing in one of the media games, and me and Fisty were on the same team, and we've known each other for a long time. We played hockey together and whatever. He so randomly, like, we'll just slash each other. And so we're skating around. I'm in front of him, and he two-hands me in the back. And I haven't worn shoulder pads since I've retired. And I'm just like, he caught me right between the shoulder blades. I'm like, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I don't wear shoulder pads. He's like, he starts laughing. He's like, I didn't know.
you look like
no apology either. Just starts laughing, skates off. I didn't know. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, you're jacked and juicy.
Oh my God! Like, come on, Mark.
You got built-in shoulder pads.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it when he's out there.
So they don't go in the corners.
I didn't know.
I didn't know. I'm like, man.
That's hilarious. It's been another fun show. We have 2 more remaining for season 3, and they're going to be great. We are looking forward to the EST golf tournament. Pagnotta will be in tow for that one. Can't wait for Tuesday. Happy Stampede, everyone that's listening in Calgary. Be safe out there. Fixing the water. All that good stuff. Or 3.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where half our team was last night.
Well, yep. That's where half of Edmonton is right now, too.
Yep.
So the city just grew by 750,000. So Calgary all of a sudden is a zoo, apparently. So be well out there in Calgary. All of those of us that are still in Edmonton, be good, too. And to those watching and listening outside of our fair province, hope you have a great rest of your weekend. For Bellezy and Benny, I'm Tommy saying thank you for watching and listening to Hello Hockey on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, as well as Sportsnet Radio. Be good, everyone. We'll see you next week.